How's it going, guys? I hope you're all having a lovely holiday and staying safe. Today we have for you a special video of a game I not only enjoyed playing, but patiently waited for since its announcements last year. It's been getting a ton of coverage from different trailers and Nintendo Directs, and we over here at Switch Planet got an early hands-on copy of the newest title in tactical strategy, Empire of Sin. Of course, this wouldn't be possible without our sponsor for today's video, Paradox Interactive, who have published some pretty awesome games over the years, including this title. This video is going to give you all the information you need to know about the game, and what to expect when you take on the gritty city of Chicago, from the overall feel of the combat, the true-to-form micromanagement, so that you can easily shoot your way to the top and become the new Kingpin. Empire of Sin is published by Paradox Interactive, whose reputation is known all across the gaming industry. It seems pretty fitting that they would publish Empire of Sin, seeing as they have been a part of the strategy game genre for quite some time, publishing titles such as City Skylines, Crusader, Battletech, Stellaris, and so much more. Taking place during the 1920s in Chicago, crime is at an all-time high, and choosing one of the many crime bosses the game has to offer, it's time to show all the other factions prying for power just how ruthless and powerful you can be. There are a lot of boxes to check when it comes to an in-depth strategy title such as this, and Romero Games slowly checks all the boxes, making sure every mechanic is fine-tuned to keep the title true to form. At first, the game itself can be overwhelming, as with many games of this type, but as soon as you start clocking in the hours, it becomes a seamless experience that will keep you in your seat. Empire of Sin is easily the most in-depth and detailed strategy title out this year. It blends easy-to-pick-up combat with plenty of real-time management and strategy, and the enjoyable dialogue between characters. It's constantly keeping you busy with different quests, hideouts, and instances. I never had any downtime being the boss. This constant motivation to always continue doing something really gives Empire of Sin infinite replayability, especially for connoisseurs of the tactical strategy genre. That is especially true with the different crime bosses you can choose at the start of the game, all with their different perks, passives, and stats, yet the game allows you to choose their personality for them, whether to be a cold-hearted entity towards everyone or be as careful and reasonable, which I will go through later. The game slowly ticks away at the clock as you move through Chicago and carry out different tasks, which are some of the purest forms of strategy play to constantly keep you moving and thinking. Luckily for beginners or people who prefer to take some time, there is a pause button to carefully lay out your plan without the stress factor of time. As the game mentions, most of your movement and time will be spent on this big Chicago map, so you can see all the different hideouts that you may own, or any rival factions that are around you. Travel isn't too much of a hassle, of course you can walk around everywhere with your party. The combat is with the times for Empire of Sin. It's turn-based strategy at its finest, with a lot to offer as far as what you can do during a fight. Each character has their set of proficiencies, which can be chosen in a skill tree-like menu, which will benefit them in combat. Along with that, there are the staples of this type of game, such as Overwatch, Hunker Down, Reload, but depending on what weapon you use, some characters have an edge in certain situations. Empire of Sin makes every aspect of Chicago a playing field, whether that be the streets or the many different establishments you come across. A combat scenario can happen at any moment, with all the different factions in Chicago, including the Chicago Police. Everyone is an enemy, even your closest allies can turn. Of course, for the best and seamless combat experience, there is a gear system, and the way you get different items or weapons is from the black market, or after every combat instance. I usually hire characters based on their starting weapons and keep them that way, because the more that your team uses a certain weapon and racks up kills, the more proficient they become with it. I set up a team with at least one long-range character, 2 mid-range, and a close-range bruiser, since I've always used that method in these types of games. But there is plenty of variety when it comes to the characters themselves. The items play a part, ranging from throwable weapons, drinks or smelling salts that can aid you in stats or health, and of course the melee weapons. There's a rarity system in this game, and of course, like in any other, the better the color, the more damage you can do to your enemies. The combat is not very hard to get into, but sticking to form makes this game just as enjoyable, not needing to branch out and get too crazy. Every time you raid an opposing faction's hideout, you can take it for yourself, or ransack it, but of course that all comes with a price, especially if it's against another crime boss. The more you piss them off, the more likely they are to raid your own hideouts to send a message, which is where the management comes in. The combat is not the only shining star in Empire of Sin, it is also supported by a vast system of management and simulation. Running the best crime empire you can requires a little time in the books. upgrading the different businesses that the game has to offer, such as brothels, breweries, casinos, speakeasies, and hotels, all with their benefits and their weaknesses. The goal being, of course, to attract the inhabitants of Chicago to keep the money flowing. Each business has different aspects that you can upgrade to produce the most amount of income, protect the establishment with more security, get the word out so more people come to your establishment, or raising the quality of that business. Of course, money is a big factor, so in order to keep the money flowing, I would just continuously raid and ransack areas so that I could upgrade my own. But of course, there are definitely other ways to go about this. Along with carrying out ambushes and raids against other crime bosses or factions, it's a very thin balance between making just enough to get by or pissing off the rest of the competition. With many other factions around you, it is also a key objective to start making some truces or take out the competition, which is easier said than done. Of course, brute forcing in a game like this doesn't always go as planned, but I always go with luck and percentages. On top of balancing who you make a friend or foe, the most beneficial ally in my opinion is the Chicago police, which can be bribed or turn a blind eye on all your activities, and maybe even helping you with some information. Each boss has a benefit if you ally with them, to improve certain businesses, to make them more profitable, but of course, a percentage is usually part of the deal. But truces can be a good way to thrive in the Empire of Sin. There's something very appealing about constantly being mindful of your reputation and expanding your territory. The businesses need alcohol to function, your own crew needs a cut of the profits to keep them happy, buying new equipment or even more allies. It's all about the money in this game, so keeping a steady flow helps. There are a lot of factors that go into how long you will last, which is fantastic in a strategy title like this. Many different systems and microsystems that need to be managed. It took a minute to get used to, but after an hour or two I knew exactly what kind of boss I wanted to be. I approached it very aggressively and hostile, but there are also options to be more of a diplomat. I'm constantly thinking, well, in the next playthrough I'll do this or I'll do that, which is a great feature of any game. Empire of Sin's vast mechanics and replayability is perfect for veterans and rookies alike. I definitely go through this trend of picking up a tactical strategy title about once a year, then play it for a week or two, but never really pick it back up. There are few titles that get me engaged, but Empire of Sin has been a title I've had and played for a couple weeks, but the enjoyment is still there. I think when it comes to the blend of combat and simulation, I haven't gotten tired of it just yet. I think the way the story and setting present itself is also a plus. Being mostly voice acted, the sit-downs that you can do with other crime bosses have been enjoyable, and with my hostile interactions, they just make it even more funnier. At the end of the day, this is a strategy title with a choose-your-own-approach method, with infinite replayability, especially if they continue releasing different bosses. I believe when we were able to start playing, they were still adding crime bosses, and the hardest choice is choosing who you want to be, since there are so many good options and factions. This game is the perfect remedy for those wanting a fun and enjoyable tactical strategy title, and I had a lot of fun, to put it plainly. I don't think this is a said and done product. Over time it will continue to evolve and update to keep expanding on an already massive title. The Nintendo Switch has consistently shown us how many different genres and games it can handle, making the overall ecosystem welcome to all types of gamers. Empire of Sin does a great job showcasing just that, with a game that usually could never be seen on a handheld such as this. But here it is, and I think it is a welcome addition to the console. Again, we would like to thank Paradox Interactive for sponsoring this video, and sending us an early access code to get our impressions of the game, and of course report it to you guys. And thank you guys for supporting and watching the video. If you can, make sure to subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed it. Also, we love to hear your own thoughts on what you think of the game, or if you are excited to check it out. Hit the bell to be notified when we make more videos like this, and that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you all have a good one, and we'll see you on the next highlight here on Switch Planet.
Of course.
Assholes. I'm all over it.
I knew it. I always win.
Okay everyone, thanks so much for watching. If you liked that video, please leave a like and subscribe, and ring the bell if you want to get notified when we release new content. We hope to see you in the next video.